It's called karma, Donald. This was Donald Trump in 2015 as he was mocking disabled persons. This was Donald Trump this past week. Oh, how the tables have turned, Donald. Now, after passing out or falling asleep during some weird press conference at the end of the week, and then having his Department of Justice file briefs with the United Supreme Court to deprive 42 million Americans of SNAP benefits, literally starving Americans to death, Donald Trump just left. He sent a message to the MAGA Republican senators saying, don't leave until you kill the filibuster. You must stay in D.C. Nothing happened there. They didn't even listen to him. And then Donald Trump went to Mar-a-Lago on the taxpayer dime, where he's probably going to be golfing again. Here he is getting off the airplane back in Florida that we, the taxpayers, pay for. By the way, Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski, apparently they got 2 private jets, nice Gulf Streams that they're gallivanting around the world. Argentina got $40 billion. Billionaires are getting tax cuts and they can write off their private jets and get exemptions there. But when it comes to paying the SNAP benefits, nope, there Americans need to starve. When it comes to your health care, nope, Donald Trump wants to take that away from you also. I'm going to give you another important data point in just a moment, but here's Donald Trump walking into Mar-a-Lago. You see him right here. I don't even know what he's doing with his hands. He looks demented. Just take a look at him. Are they screaming at random people there? Here he is. I'll just show you the footage for yourself. You can judge what the hell's going on here. He just starts yelling at people at Mar-a-Lago. Let me show you what goes down. Play this clip.
Hi, everybody. Have a good night. You're the best, USA.
Well, and here's what's happening at Mar-a-Lago as well. Right after last weekend, Trump had the half-naked women in martini glasses for the Great Gatsby Roaring '20s theme party with the slogan, "A little party never killed nobody," as Donald Trump's actually killing Americans by depriving them of health care and getting rid of their SNAP benefits. Here's what was going on yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. I genuinely don't know what this event is, but you again have women dressed like this. Again, I have no clue what this is, what's happening at Mar-a-Lago. You can judge for yourself. Apparently, there was also a very high-end jewelry auction taking place, jewelry that purports to be worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars being auctioned off at this event. Great optics and great behavior. I'm being sarcastic, of course, while Americans are suffering right now. How despicable is that? Also, our sleuths at the MeidasTouch network found this. At Mar-a-Lago, they have a, quote, copy of the Resolute desk on display. So Trump's club members, part of the grift, they pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. I think it's getting close to $1 million in annual membership fees. And then what? They take the Resolute desk from the White House from prior administrations and put it in Mar-a-Lago. That again belongs to us. Okay. He destroyed the East Wing of the White House. He's taking the Resolute desk. Let's just be very clear who Donald Trump is. He's a sexual abuser. He's a felon. He's a criminal. He's a bankrupter, and he's doing what he's done to his companies his entire life to the United States of America right now. And we're all like non-consenting people in his utter train wreck and disaster. At least I suppose with his companies, and I don't say this lightly, the damage was limited to what those companies were doing, although I don't want to make light of it because he destroyed the lives of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people with his deceit and bankruptcies. Now the entire country, other than the billionaire friends of his, are suffering, are absolutely suffering. Just look at this. You have Attorney General Pam Bondi Friday night bragging the Supreme Court just granted our administrative stay in the case to block SNAP benefit payments to the American people. This is a direct quote. I'm not like being hyperbolic, folks. She goes, "Our attorneys will not stop fighting day and night to defend and advance Trump's agenda." You gave $40 billion to Argentina. That's the Trump agenda, is $40 billion to Argentina. And then where a district court orders you Pay the SNAP benefits. You have the money. It's sitting in a contingency fund account. Just pay the people. The Trump agenda is to starve Americans to death. Once again, I don't care what political party you're from, Democrat, Republican, Independent, no party. What Trump is doing is inflicting cruel and unusual punishment and torture, both physical and psychological, on the American people. Trump's behavior, as Judge Ellis in Chicago said regarding the ICE raids and the gassing and the chemical warfare against people there, quote, shocks the conscience. Intentional infliction of emotional distress against the American people. That's why the American people sent that resounding message on Tuesday. And all Donald Trump wants to do is make Americans suffer and suffer more. Our friend Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett says, if you're one of the 40 million Americans receiving SNAP, please never forget that Trump and the Republicans were lockstep, making sure you didn't get your $6 a day. Oh, and if you just have a soul and think this is cruelty, especially as our tax dollars are wasted on countless golf trips and private jets for Kristi Noem and $173 billion for ICE to inflict cruelty on migrants, please never forget. And then yesterday, Trump was calling affordability a Democratic con job. Here's what he said. Play this clip.
That's a big number because Walmart's respected. I mean, Walmart is Walmart and, they're giving you prices. So that would mean that the whole series of pricing and costs, the groceries and everything else, it was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things, cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true. It was 25%. Walmart just announced it 2 days ago. 25% cheaper this year will be cheaper to have Thanksgiving than it was a year ago under Sleepy Joe Biden.
Then when a reporter fact-checked Donald Trump because he claimed that Thanksgiving would be 25% cheaper this year than it was under former President Biden, he said, Walmart told me it was 25% cheaper. And everybody knows that Walmart's list this year contains 14 items and all of their value items. Last year, it contained over 20 items and brand name items. So they reduced the items by over 7. And then they went to the generic Walmart brands. And Trump's bragging that it's 25%. Look, I don't even have to fact check Trump. You know that when you leave your home and you buy things, it's more expensive. So all of this Trump saying there's no inflation and everybody's doing great, to me, it just inflicts more psychological torture. And as I've said, Trump hates this country. He hates you. He hates America. MAGA Republicans hate you and they hate America. And we just have to be very clear about that. Let's play this clip of Trump attacking the reporter and saying, oh, you're fake news, for just pointing out the facts that the Walmart list contains less items. Again, I don't care what political party you're from. You should look at this and this should piss you off. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, since you brought up the Walmart Thanksgiving meal, and it is cheaper, but it also contains less. As a board member,
Well, I haven't heard that. You're telling me. Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with NBC News, sir.
Fake news. NBC. You're fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
And then to make things even worse, what Trump says why he wants to deprive Americans of SNAP benefits is he goes, we need to remain very liquid as a nation. And we don't have the liquidity, meaning we don't have the cash flow. We don't have the money, the cash to fund SNAP. I just want you to think about that because he had the cash to pay $40 billion to Argentina, right? So there was cash for that. They have the cash to pay for Kristi Noem's private jets and ICE to inflict torture on people. And they have $1 trillion in defense spending, wherever the hell that money's going, probably to fund, Trump oligarch buddies. They have the money to fund private prisons and all. They don't have the money to feed Americans. in what's supposed to be the wealthiest nation of the world. But here's the thing too. Hasn't Donald Trump claimed that he's brought in $22 trillion? Isn't that what he brags about? I brought in 22 trillion or 18 trillion, 22 trillion's coming. So if you brought in $22 trillion, there should be so much liquidity that we're actually in a golden age. But instead, what's going on here, folks, is that Trump is engaged in the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the world. That's what's taking place. Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme was $65 billion. This is worse. Here, play this clip.
And one other thing, our country has to remain very liquid because problems, catastrophes, wars, could be anything. We have to remain liquid. We can't give everything away based on a number. Here's an example. When I was president, the number that you're talking about was a tiny fraction of what it is now. Biden went totally crazy, gave it to anybody that would ask, gave it to people that were able-bodied, had no problem. Anybody that would ask, we get the number. And it's many times the number of people are on. This wasn't meant for that.
And meanwhile, there's no end in sight for the government shutdown. I'm going to do a whole other video about this. But Democrats on Friday offered a compromise, one that at first I was frustrated about, but I ended up understanding why they did it. So the Democrats said, why don't we agree to just extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies for 1 year, but we need a date certain at which point we can agree to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies longer or come up with a plan to make Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act better. And let's propose solutions and let's do it in public to the American people. The MAGA Republicans said that's nonsense. We don't even want to extend the subsidies for 1 year. It's a non-starter. So Democrats called their bluff, and MAGA Republicans said, we don't want to talk to you about a 1 year Affordable Care Act extension at all. So how do you even talk to these people? MAGA Republican Senator John Kennedy said, maybe it will be 2026 when we'll come out of the shutdown. I'm not kidding, he says. The shutdown is going to last a long time. What's going to get us out of it? If you go back, remember the MeidasTouch videos where the shutdown began? Do you remember the commentary that I gave? I said this shutdown's going to last longer than a year. I said it's going to go into 2026. And everything, nah, Ben, this, that. And I said, go back and watch the show I did with Governor Newsom on his podcast. I said, Trump's going to demand they do the filibuster. I said, that comes next. We'll see if they do that. But if they don't do that, there's not going to be an ending. It's exactly what's happening right now. There was so much bad economic data yesterday. It was really tragic. We learned that there was 153,000 more jobs lost in October. Meanwhile, I'll do a video on this too. Canada gained 66,000 jobs in October. There may have been more jobs lost because Trump's hiding. The Bureau of Labor Statistics isn't even publishing the data. We got that from private sources. Consumer confidence, economic expectation data from the University of Michigan reports essentially at all-time lows. And going back to those jobless reports, it's the worst since the Great Recession and COVID. I mean, these are horrific numbers, recessionary or depression style numbers. And some of those jobless claims are the highest amongst young people as well. Really bad stuff. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is rage posting. He goes, while cattle prices have dropped substantially, the price of boxed beef has gone up. Therefore, you know something is, quote, fishy. We will get to the bottom of it very quickly. If there is criminality, those people responsible will pay a steep price. I have asked the DOJ to immediately begin an investigation into meat packing companies who are driving up the price of beef through illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. We will always protect our American ranchers, and they are being blamed for what is being done by the majority foreign-owned meat packers who artificially inflate prices and jeopardize the security of our nation's food supply. A lot of the collusion was taking place in 2021, right after COVID, as a result of Donald Trump's mishandling of COVID. A lot of that ended up becoming addressed in the market. The beef prices are going up for a variety of reasons. Trump's trade war against the world is one of the reasons, amongst others. But Donald Trump's been horrible to the cattle ranchers. He's talked about bringing in beef from Argentina that has foot and mouth disease. So when he says, we're going after foreign collusion, dude, you're out there saying you want to bring in the foreign beef. It's just, I don't know if you know cattle ranchers out there. I've spoken to a lot of senators who work with cattle ranchers. You may be a cattle rancher watch, because I don't know. Like, this guy's lying to you, right? like this guy just thinks you're stupid. Like, he thinks we're all just stupid and dumb, and that, he can say there's no inflation and everything's great. It's like, come on. I think we're all beginning to see, I hope, the global we right now. We're seeing a lot of MAGA waking up as well, that this guy's a con artist. His whole life, he's been stealing from people and lying to people and defrauding people. I just want to speak plainly to you right now. This is a bad human being, like a real bad, vile person who just is a predator. And he goes and he takes and he deceives and he surrounds himself with mean, cruel, evil people. These are bad human beings, really bad human beings. Sometimes it's just a simple explanation like that. And who's it? Governor Newsom, who called, he called Trump and these people like they're, he used the term something to send like they're predators, like they're out there just like a virus, if you will. And that's what's taking place. So we'll call it out for what it is, but he's out there partying in Mar-a-Lago again and behaving however he is. But the American people hate him. His approval's at an all-time low for like anybody, like for any president. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.